Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Lotus Heart Tarot. I'm very excited to have you here. We're going to dive right into your reading today and see what we get here for Pisces. Please, Spirit, for Pisces. What do we have for Pisces? What does Pisces need to know right now? For Pisces. All right, here we go. Keep in mind, these are general readings. So take what resonates and leave the rest, okay? Wow. Okay. You know, sometimes we don't realize the effect that we have on other people just by being true to ourselves, by being who we are, and by kind of living with our own intention. But a lot of times, I mean, with soulmates, you come into each other's lives sometimes to teach each other a lesson. And it feels like this is definitely talking about a soulmate relationship where I think someone, this is tricky for me because on one hand, I think, on one hand, I think there's a feminine energy. That doesn't mean a feminine, like it's not gender, it's just a feminine energy. Who may have, being in a relationship may cause this person to face some fears. They may have trust issues. They may have a fear of intimacy. They may have a real fear of abandonment. Whatever it is, just the act of being in a relationship really stretches this person to kind of face their fear or to, move beyond fear. And I feel like the masculine energy has a tendency to make it so far and then kind of get stuck. It's like, this is the, it's like, I just saw it like this. You know how grocery carts sometimes have an electronic boot on them, so if you try to take them outside the parking lot, they won't roll anymore. And there's symbols on the grocery cart that tell you that, especially in cities and stuff. It's showing me that. And so it's kind of like I can make it so far, I have a comfort zone that I'm cool in and I can roll around in and I seem perfectly normal and capable, and I can hold everything that there is to hold. But the minute you get me to that edge, I shut down. I just become stuck. And I feel like, maybe this feminine energy really, I feel like the feminine energy was really facing their fear, really pushing themselves to open up, pushing themselves to go beyond where they felt comfortable. And it may have been inside this person's comfort zone. But then once they reached the edge of this person's comfort zone, they stopped. And I think, it could have triggered the underlying fear in the feminine energy, but it also could have been that this feminine was like, wow, I really pushed myself in this connection, and I may have made a lot of healthy choices, or I may have made a lot of progress. And there is this, you see how she's walking away and there's all these points of light behind her. It's kind of like I was brave. I can be at peace with myself because I know that I did everything that I could. And there's a lightness in that energy. There's a peace in that energy. There's a, I've earned my way to, walking away from this in a way that isn't super duper heavy and hard. And you know, not to say that there isn't grief here, or there isn't suffering, or there isn't sadness, or there isn't this almost like realization of the fear. But it is to say that when that comes up, this feminine energy can say, you know, I did everything I could. I used every free will choice that I had to make the best decision possible, and to be brave, and to be courageous, and to face my fears. And you can even see it in this teacher energy. You see how the feminine is like looking in this book. She's willing to learn. She's willing to open up. She's willing to try. And this feminine is here sort of the masculine is here sort of watching the feminine, and sort of letting her, you know, have this experience, but is also not really participating. He's just sort of watching. Well, here in this stuck energy, he's also watching this taking steps energy. And so it's giving me this vibe of, you know, sometimes we learn a lot through observation, or through someone else's behavior, or someone else's cycle. This is definitely, you know, a soulmate relationship. And it is definitely something where at one point we were very happy to find each other. And, you know, maybe we still feel that way to a degree, but I feel like we're kind of in this place where the masculine is a bit triggered and a bit stuck, and the feminine is able to move toward, it may not be this connection, or it may not even be another connection, but she's able to move on with a lightness of spirit, knowing that she did everything that she could. And I think that it is giving this masculine an opportunity to sort of see how you do that, you know? But I don't think the feminine is like, yeah. I don't think the feminine is like super hyper focused on this masculine energy. Like, what are you doing? Are you watching me? Are you figuring this out? It's just sort of like, I'm doing my own thing. Like, she's going on towards something else. For some of you, this could be, you know, like even focusing on some kind of institution, school, work, moving, you know, I don't know. But like, she isn't letting this stop her. Sometimes when someone is able to go on and you're not, and you're stuck, you're like, how the heck did they do that? How the heck did they, you know, just get through this so easily? And it's like, this person was taking risks all along. This person was being brave. This person was facing their fear all along. This wasn't easy. It looks easy now because this person was working this whole time to make it easy. The only thing that makes it easy is when you feel that you're at a place of peace and acceptance with what happened. And the only way for you to really be that way is to know that you did everything that you could. Honestly know it. Not tell yourself that and convince yourself of it, but to honestly know it. That every time you had a choice, you chose love over fear. Even though the fear was strong, and even though the fear made you want to not choose love, you were brave. And so that's how you walk away so easily. This masculine has the opportunity to find their bravery and to overcome. You even see it here in these cards. So there's something that happened here where I feel like someone became off limits to someone. There's space and there's disruption here, which is just telling me that there's been some kind of ending or some kind of boundary that's been enacted that is creating a lot of emptiness in this connection. Like, we're not building new memories. We're not working towards something actively, like this is off limits. And it's off limits because it's an opportunity to choose growth. And it's an opportunity for both people to choose growth. This person's growth will take them out of this stuck energy. This person's growth is obviously taking them toward a new adventure or toward a shift in focus, possibly. That is an opportunity for expansion and growth. This is the green energy, so it can be relating to the heart chakra. It's also a green energy and can be relating to abundance, right? So, in the material world. So, but you have determination and you have comfort. Again, this quote keeps coming up for me all the time, just so randomly I hear it. It's ships in the harbor are safe, but that's not what ships are built for. But it takes a lot of determination just to live up to your own potential, just to overcome even the everyday obstacles that it's so weird. It's giving me like appear in the way of your happiness, but it's also giving me like mirage energy. Like they don't really stand in the way of your happiness, but they appear to, or they feel like they do, but it's not real. I don't know what that is. Oh crap. It's actually like what is inside us. Because it's like, it's even giving me like, if circumstance in your life provides some kind of obstacle, if your mindset is that it isn't an obstacle, but it is an opportunity, it's an opportunity. If your mindset is that it's an obstacle, then it's an obstacle. But those things don't actually stand in the way of our happiness. We can choose happiness anytime, is what it's giving me. Wow, it's like relating it back up here to this, with fear being an illusion and with being stuck being an illusion. We're never stuck. The universe doesn't have stuck energy. The one truth about the universe is that everything is in a constant state of change. So stuck implies no change. Stuck implies, you know, the like inability to change, you know, and that never exists. That's never true. And I don't take saying never lightly. You know, always and never are extremes, and they're almost always never true, you know? And so I don't take that lightly, but that's really how I'm getting it, is that it's never true. We're never stuck. Stuck is a mindset. There's something here a lot about mindset, and like perception and perspective and choice, the choice between love and fear. Because it's almost like this feminine is like disrobing the fear, because it's like she faced it multiple times and chose love. And it's like anything, exercising that muscle. When you choose love repeatedly, you're the frequency of love. You exonerate yourself from fear. I don't know what the word exonerate means or why I'm using it, but there you have it. Okay, let's go further. This is this energy it's like tickling my brain. Okay. Your thoughts create your reality. That's like coming through hard. Okay. So this feminine may be showing this masculine how that is, how that works, what's happening here, how she did it, how she does it. he may even know that she was scared, that she had fear, but she has freed herself. It tells me to clarify social media. This may be a very specific message, I'm not sure. Social media. Social media. Okay. Someone may have posted a sort of a revealing social media post. In other words, there's something here where I feel the feminine. There's something here about how someone has been able to go on and is happy, or is like, there's, it's almost like, I kind of want to say it like a loss of inhibition, or like this person is like branching into new territory, or is very vivacious, or very healthy, or very you know, they're out there, they're doing something, there's a lightness and a breeziness, and it's like they're seeing an enjoyment of life, and it's not a fake thing, it's a real thing. I don't want to say it's like out of character, because it's not, but it's almost, it's like revealing to this person that some type of transformation has actually taken place authentically, and that they really are sort of letting go of this situation, or they really are sort of moving on. They're moving into a different energy, even, that it's kind of like this person will not be able to get to if they don't figure it out. You have the Hermit and the Knight of Wands. And so I feel like this person has sort of been by themselves and sort of staying stuck and in their comfort zone. The Hermit is an interesting energy, right? Because it's it is kind of a growth mindset. It is a very spiritual mindset, but this is giving this Hermit, the way he's sitting here with his legs crossed, it feels like he's sort of deeply entrenched. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of growth. I don't see the lantern with the star in it. You know, there's just this, I'm just getting comfortable where I am, or I'm just kind of keeping to myself, and kind of it almost feels like protecting myself with my comfort zone. Like, I'm just not pushing myself beyond this. But yet, from where they're sitting, they're able to see the other person living. And there's something about how the net result of these two people coming together resulted in one person having like expansion and growth, and a vivacity and a vibrancy and a lightness of spirit and a raise almost of the vibration that you can almost feel through some kind of social media post or some kind of information that's gotten back to this person. And this person is stuck in their comfort zone. It's like highlighting to this person kind of their lack of growth or their it's just the discrepancy between the result of the coming together of these two people. And with the Knight of Swords here, it's kind of like making this person not really want to think about this, or not, they don't want to dwell anymore in this comfort zone. They don't want to be, it's moving them to action. It's making them say, I need to catch up with this. I need to take action. I need to speak my truth. I need to go after this before fear or before, any of those kind of like self-sabotaging behaviors can catch me. With the Knight of Swords, it's like I see the truth. I need to just act on it before I think about it too much. And you have this unlocked energy with this Knight of Swords energy, which is action. It feels to me that it is freeing this person from, this is their opportunity for growth. This is their opportunity to get unstuck and to take the lead of this feminine and, rise up and grow through this experience rather than to just sort of return to the status quo. It feels like it's egging her on. You know how when you get stuck in the mud in a car and it's like sometimes when you push on the gas, you go deeper into the mud. And sometimes like if you actually sort of put your mind to it and like maybe you get a floor mat out or something and put it under the wheel to the best of your ability to create some traction, it's like you kind of have the ability to sort of rock the car back and forth and then push it out of the mud, right? It's giving me this energy of someone who would, like with this Hermit energy, was sort of spinning their wheels and almost like voluntarily digging in deeper, but like also sort of saying to themselves that they were, trying to get out, trying to get unstuck, but it just like wasn't possible. And then it's like, but watching this feminine energy like succeed and be lighthearted and be vivacious and vibrant, and it's almost like you can really feel the shift in the energy of the feminine just by even looking at their picture or hearing some kind of news. And there's such a truth in it. There's such an authenticity in it that it's like this person is like, oh, I can't even, chase the feminine. Like I can't even go after the feminine in this current condition. I need to choose something else here. Otherwise I'm going to lose the feminine altogether. And I'm going to have to sit here and watch this, I feel like, explosion. It's like almost like fireworks. And not be able to participate, not be able to be a real part of it, just sort of watch helplessly from the sidelines. And it's like thrusting this energy into action, a way different kind of action. It's unlocking the stuckness, This reflections card, swans, I believe, mate for life. They're soulmates. And I feel, sometimes our reflection, how do I want to say this? Our reflection is so honest and so true. And if you're not really taking good care of yourself, you're gonna see it in your own reflection, right? You're gonna see the bags under your eyes. You're going to see the unkept, disheveled hair, the like whatever. You're gonna see it when you look at your reflection. And your reflection doesn't really lie. It's pretty honest. You can lie to yourself about what you're seeing or about why you're seeing it there, but it doesn't lie. And sometimes when we don't look at our reflection for a long time, we don't really look at it. When we look at it, we go, oh my God, when did that happen? How did that happen? When did I get that wrinkle? When did I get that dark spot? When did I, you know what I mean? And we do go through periods of life where we're not really looking for our reflection. We're not living mindfully, consciously. We're sort of just reacting to what is in front of us. And it's like we're projecting more than we're reflecting, if that makes sense. And then when something sobering hits us, and we look in the mirror and we look at our reflection, a lot can have changed. I dye my hair. I'll just freaking admit that on YouTube to all of you. I have gray hair, but not all gray hair. And so, but it's just kind of funny how it is. And I'm a pretty natural person. Like, I don't wear a lot of makeup. I'm not like fancy with my clothes or anything like that. I'm a pretty like down to earth person. I feel like, I hope I am. Anyway, so if I don't have a lot going on, or what makes me look to see if I need to dye my hair is if my kids are coming home, or if I'm going out with a friend, or if I have some kind of event coming up, or if I'm traveling or something like that, then I'll be like, oh man, I need to dye my hair. But if more time passes between those things, then like my roots will grow out. And when I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, because gray hair really like takes the color out of your face. I'm pretty pale as a person, and you look sort of lifeless, especially when you don't wear makeup very much. You look kind of drained. And so it's funny, my daughter came home and I dyed my hair, and my husband said to me, you look a lot younger when you dye your hair. Like, he said something to me, and it's pretty funny because he doesn't really notice when I get my hair cut or when I get my hair done. And so I was like, wow, it must have been pretty long or pretty bad, you know what I mean? But it's giving me this energy of like, I didn't look at myself. I wasn't looking at myself. Like, I was focusing on the things outside myself, or I was focusing on the other rather than myself. And even in terms of relationships, it is never about the other person. It is always about ourselves. How are we doing? Are we being the partner that we want to have, that we're seeking? Are we, and a lot of that comes from, are we with someone that allows us to be that person, that encourages us to be that person, that creates a space where we can be that person? Because, you also need that, right? I was just thinking the other day, I was talking to my daughter, she brought home a friend, and we were sitting outside talking just about life and stuff. And I was, we were talking about cooking and all this stuff. And I was saying how, like, one of the things I really love about Bubba, one of the things I just love about my husband is how he is so supportive of everything that I do. You know, it doesn't matter if it was photography, it doesn't matter. I think I'm better at everything because his attitude toward me is like, oh my God, it's incredible that you can do that. Oh my gosh, you're so amazing at that, you know? And like, no matter what, if I cook it, Bubba, he'll eat every bite, you know, and he'll be like, wow, that is so good. And he'll make me feel so proud about what I created. And he's really appreciative of it. And, you know, it makes me continue to push myself to be even better, or to find recipes he's going to enjoy even more, or to try even harder, you know, to be my best. And in that experience, it has helped me learn what I'm capable of. And it has helped me, you know, master skills and, you know, take on challenges and be the best me I can be. You know what I'm saying? And that, I think that is sort of a marker of a really good relationship, is that, you know, you have someone who is always encouraging you in that way, to really push yourself and to really expand and to really sort of find out what you're made of. What is your highest and best? You know, and encouraging you to find it and to explore it. They're not someone who is, you know, limiting you, making you small, cutting you off from your friends and your family. They're not somebody who, you know, is, you know, begrudging you your opportunities, saying that you don't deserve things, saying that, you know what I mean? There's someone who's always like, wow, you know, that's just amazing. And I feel like with this reflection energy here, it's like this person being by themselves, it's causing them to take that hard look at themselves and to sort of sit with who they were in the relationship. You know, I think when they were actively in it, they were always looking at the other person and what are the flaws of that person? What are the, you know, what are their downfalls? What are their weaknesses? Are they somebody that I want to be with? Da 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 da. They weren't thinking, am I somebody that I would want to be with? Am I in my highest and best energy? Am I taking care of myself? You know, am I, you know, we all sort of shut down in an environment of judgment. You know, we're afraid to try because we know we're going to get judged until we find it within ourselves not to care what other people think. Judgment is one of the most arresting energies out there, you know? And when you judge others, you're judging yourself, so you're arresting your own ability to grow. And you're also arresting the ability of people around you if they allow that, if they accept that, if they take that on. That's why a lot of people, like if you come from a super judgmental family, they stop talking to their family. They stop spending time with their family. They don't want to go home. They don't want to face that judgment. They don't want to be made to feel small or ashamed about their life. Like nobody wants that. And so it's almost like I feel, I don't know if this masculine energy was like really judging the other, but it sort of feels like there's assumption here, there's judgment here, there's some kind of low vibrational tendencies here. And it's like, now that this masculine is by themselves, now that they've lost this feminine and this feminine is thriving without them, the reflection that they're having to face, what they're having to see in themselves, it's honest, and sometimes honesty is brutal, right? And I feel like with this signs energy, it's like, you know, this is a soul connection. You have soul connection here, you have kindred partnership here, and this masculine, I feel like they may have been like, oh, it's fine that they went away, or it's fine, whatever. But this masculine at the heart of the heart does believe in soulmates and does believe that like they're not sure you get more than one in your life. And there are signs still around this masculine pointing to the fact that this was their soulmate, and that their behavior or that who they were or their lack of growth or their choice to move into a position of stuckness has really left them here by themselves and observing this feminine thriving. This feminine almost like being more willing to reveal more of herself. With the Nine of Wands coming out sideways, it's kind of like someone who was guarded, who's now freer, who's kind of lost their inhibition, is kind of like, take me or leave me, judge me, I don't care, kind of energy, which is very attractive. And because she's no longer afraid of judgment or, not being good enough or not being worthy or trying to make this masculine happy or comfortable with herself, with who she is, she's like, this is who I truly am. And it's vibrant and it's beautiful and it's intoxicating almost. It's very attractive, and it's making this masculine really have to sit with the fact that they were almost like a limiting factor here, and that energy has really left them here by themselves, alone with their own reflection. And I think that reflection is a little bit brutal. This entanglement energy is really giving me that, like, no matter how hard this masculine tries to sort of move on, it's almost like they tried to accept their own fate and say, okay, well, I'm alone, I'm moving on, I'm going in my own direction. But it's like mentally they're stuck, mentally they can't, mentally they're not allowed, mentally this feminine is like interwoven into their mind, and they can't. It's like they can swim away and they can, whatever, but even in swimming away, they're doing so by themselves, alone with their reflection. And all their reflection is saying back to them is, you're alone because of your own choices, your own behavior, your own like giving in to stuckness, your own, choice to sort of stay in your comfort zone, and not to push yourself beyond your own fears and your own limitations. And I think it's causing them to sort of, well, for one thing, one of the first things we have to do is really forgive ourselves. But even when I say that, I get this energy of like, it's almost kind of like this masculine feels as though they can't forgive themselves unless they receive the forgiveness of the feminine. Because it almost feels as though this masculine is sort of coming to this place where they're realizing the choices that they made actually, I kind of want to say had a harmful effect, but harmful isn't really true. It's almost like they could have had a harmful effect on the feminine, but this feminine chose to face her own fears and is kind of living with this knowledge that with her free will choices, with everything that she could have done, she chose correctly. She chose in her own highest and best. And that's why she's so free to sort of accept herself and relinquish the weight of any fear or judgment, or even with herself, of saying to herself, you could have done more, you should have done more, there could have been a different result if you wouldn't have said this, if you would have said this. She sort of carefully aligned herself with the healthy choice. And because of that, she is sort of free of all of that heaviness and all of that weight of, wish you would have said this or wish you wouldn't have said that. She drove her line straight and narrow according to her own consciousness. And she's not in the same weight that this masculine is. When you've done everything you can with your free will choices, then you trust that the universe is going to provide someone else another opportunity, or that this person is going to rise up and change. And I think this masculine is kind of like, wow, you know, how I behaved could have really hurt the feminine, or could have really, like, I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. I engaged in this connection to some degree, but I really didn't give it my all. I really didn't use all of my free will choices wisely here. And so there is this energy of, I feel like, seeking the forgiveness of the feminine. And this masculine may feel that they won't be able to move on completely, that they won't be able to free themselves from thinking about the feminine constantly until they do sort of seek the feminine's forgiveness, if that makes sense. And I think that is part of this Knight of Swords energy, where this person is like, okay, you know, I may need to come forward and actually really speak my truth and acknowledge, you know, that I didn't do everything I could, and that it was me, it wasn't them. I do feel like there has been a lot of space that has grown between these two, but I do feel like there is sort of this fateful meeting. There is something about divine timing and this meeting energy. And the fact that this is a soul connection, it does feel like there is some kind of opportunity for something to come full circle. There may be some sort of serendipitous meeting where these two sort of come together unexpectedly, or yeah, I'm going to leave that right there. I don't need to say anything else about it. All right, let's dive into the tarot, shall we? What does Pisces need to know? Wow. My God. You've got the Three of Wands, the Eight of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the King of Swords. Yeah, there's definitely an energy here where this masculine feels like they have to say something. I just honestly, or it's like they have to, there's something that they have to deliver or give or speak or say, or, you know, whatever, to this feminine. This masculine, wow, you have the Eight of Swords with the Queen of Wands here. And, you know, it's like this masculine is really coming to terms with the fact that their own limited mindset, their own, you know, reaching the edge where the grocery cart locks up, where the grocery cart wheels lock up. This relationship was never going to be able to go past that energy. There's just something here about that. It was never going to be able to go past that. You know, that was always going to be the limitation or the edge of where this whole thing could move. And that limitation was created by this masculine's thoughts, by their limiting beliefs. You know, possibly about themselves, possibly about relationships in general. It could be a ton of things, but it wasn't because they didn't want the feminine. It wasn't because they weren't attracted or they didn't desire it. They desired it. They just couldn't sort of get out of their own way or free themselves from this limiting belief system in order to really have what they desired. So this, I keep getting like this energy of, it's not you, it's me, you know. With the Three of Wands, you know, this is kind of an energy of planning and strategizing, but it's kind of like, I feel, do you see how there's one person who's clearly like mastered these three wands, and then there's these other people kind of standing around gasping and looking and sort of observing this person who's obviously really good with the wands. There's this energy of this feminine really captivating people and really leading the way. And I think this masculine is like, how did they do it? And the masculine sort of knows, well, they didn't have this limiting belief system. They, you know, they became one with the energy and the frequency that was what they desired. And they didn't let anything interrupt that, where the masculine became one with their limiting belief system, and that kind of created boundary or this limitation for the connection where it couldn't move beyond that point. It locked up there. And I think that, you know, with this King of Swords, there's like this bird carrying this box. It's sort of like this energy of someone who has freed themselves from this limiting belief, or has at least gotten a different perspective of it, a higher level perspective of it, so they can kind of see where those limitations exist. Their awareness is on it, and they may want to speak about it. They may also, I feel this energy of wanting to give the feminine something that they should have given them. Could be in the form of words, like communication. And it could be asking for forgiveness. Wow. This masculine has been relegated to the position that everyone else has around this feminine. They're no different. They are standing here watching just like everyone else as she explores her true potential and comes in touch with being free to show the world who she really is without fear of judgment, without needing to play small to fit in or to make other people comfortable. And she's kind of captivating an audience, and this masculine is no different than the rest of the audience. He no longer has a special place with this feminine, you know, in the center here with her, close to her. He's holding the same space that just everyone else is, and I don't think he's really okay with that. I feel a sense of like envy or jealousy or anger sort of welling up in this. You see the look on this Page of Swords face here. It is a little bit determination to maybe like get back into a special place, or to like, you know, not have all these people see how fabulous this feminine is. But they don't really have any leverage. They don't really have a special place with this feminine to even get that, to even get there. Then you have this Eight of Cups with the Eight of Swords with the Queen of Wands. Sorry, the people that cut my grass are here, so Bhakti's a little worked up. But this energy is one where, you know, it's kind of like this masculine with this new perspective is realizing that with this limited belief system, the feminine really had sort of like no choice but to kind of walk away, to free herself from the limitation. That, you know, once she discovered it really wasn't going to go beyond these 8 cups, and that she wasn't going to find fulfillment here because of the limitation of the masculine, her choice was to stay true to herself and what she was aligning with and what her own energy was and what she was working to attract, and to say, you know what, I want my wish fulfillment, and this isn't it. You know, she may have asked for something more here, and, you know, the masculine may have been like, I can't offer you more because this is all I have space for. I just can't do it. And the feminine was like, okay, I accept that. Look, we gave it our best try, and I'm moving on. We have the Devil on the bottom of the deck, and I do feel like I need to take one on that. Wow. This masculine is extremely attracted to this feminine. It's kind of like there's almost an obsessive kind of energy that's developing here. He feels like he can't get away. It's like he's trying to swim away with this reflection energy, but it's like this is all he can think about. And even in swimming away, the only thing he's cognizant of is not where he's going, but what he's missing. That the feminine isn't beside him, and that because this feminine may have been his only soulmate, that may have been his only shot. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Okay, the Devil for Pisces on the bottom of the deck. The Devil for Pisces. Wow. Okay. Bubba rubs. Okay, so you have the Seven of Cups with the Six of Swords with the Ace of Swords, clarifying this Devil. And you have the Four of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. There's this energy of I can't let go. I cannot get away from this. This person let fear and illusion let go of the best thing that they had. You see, this child is flying this kite, and it feels like if you really can look, the hand is open and not even holding on to the kite anymore. He's like letting go. And it's like because of their fear and illusion, they let go of this beautiful, beautiful kite that really made them special. They were remarkable with that kite in their hand. They had everything with that kite in their hand. But once they let it go, and that kite is free to fly and free to show the world how beautiful it is, it no longer belongs to this child. It belongs to the universe. You know what I mean? This child doesn't get to say, that's my kite, you know? And with the Four of Pentacles, there's still this energy of not being able to actually really let it go. I can let go of the string of the kite, but I can't actually let go of my possessiveness of the kite, that is my kite. You see what I'm saying? And so with the Six of Swords and the Ace of Swords, this is, I need to come to a place of peace in my head. I need to be able to be at peace with my own mind, my own thoughts. I need to be able to sort of see clearly. And with the Ace of Swords, that is clarity. And the clarity that is coming to this person is that, you know, they may have let the best thing in their life kind of go, you know, the thing that made them special, the thing that sort of transformed them. And they did it out of fear and illusion. Stuff that wasn't really real, that didn't really exist. There is something happening within this person where there's a heavy emphasis on forever. Do you know what I'm saying? I keep getting this energy where like swans mate for life. And I think this person feels like they had their lifetime swan with them and they let them go. And now they may just be swimming alone, rudderless forever. Like they don't even have they can't even aim for a place. They're not even looking for another swan because they know they already had the swan and they lost the swan. You see what I'm saying? And here you have the King of Pentacles in reverse and the Prince of Pentacles upright. There's this energy of like, I had everything. And I lost it. And now it's like all I have to look forward to is sort of like the other stuff in life, sort of the material world, or like where the material world takes me. But it's like by myself. You see, he's only here with imaginary characters. He's not there with anyone in real life. He's just there by himself. There's a real fear of loneliness here. There's a real fear of a loss so permanent. And it's not just the loss of a person, it's the loss of an opportunity. And you see the Princess of Wands here on the bottom of the deck where she's still roaming free. She still has happiness. Look at her face. Like, what's in front of me? What am I going to discover? Where am I going? Where is this road going to take me? I'm following what I desire. I'm following what I want, and I'm free to do that. And I'm doing it with a lighthearted nature, more myself than I've ever been, which when you are more yourself, then you are calling in people who love you for who you truly are. And this person is like, I'm becoming a miser by myself. This may be a bit dramatic or extreme, but there is something here about helplessness and hopelessness and of having let go of the thing that held the most value to you in your life. And this person is, still on this journey. They still could find someone else. They still could have something else here. It's a very interesting kind of energy. They're still free to pursue their passion. Wow, yeah, okay. Wow, see Justice on the bottom of the deck there. Man, I mean, the irony of this thing, or the, like, I don't know if it's irony or whatever, but you see the Princess of Wands here on her horse, and you see the Knight of Wands here in reverse with this Prince of Pentacles, with this old man who, it's like he may have adventures, he may even live in a castle, he may even have tons of material abundance, but he has it by himself with only these little imaginary kind of friends around him. He doesn't have a partner. And there's like, I'm not going to find anything better than what I had. Like, that was my lifelong partner. And, you know, there's no point in me looking for anything else, because that was my fate. That was what I desired. I'm not going to find something that has something that I want more than that, than her. And with the King of Pentacles, with the Hermit here, it sure does suck when you've already lost something and you realize that that was what you wanted all along. But this is the karmic justice that's happening for this masculine's behavior. And wow, with the Wheel of Fortune underneath that, this is a lesson that this masculine can learn that can change time for them, that can, you know, create a different outcome for them. This masculine is having trouble. Remember in the beginning when I was saying this is about perception? Like, if you see the obstacle, then that's what you have, is an obstacle. If you see the obstacle as an opportunity, then that's what you have. You have an opportunity. This masculine is experiencing such suffering, such heartbreak, like, through the illumination of this, through them finding the truth, through them seeing it clearly now. They're experiencing suffering. They're experiencing the feeling of loss with the Three of Swords, so much so that they're not able to, they're kind of lost in the overwhelm. They're lost in the thought that they can't bring this back together, that they can't have some kind of reconciliation. They can't see how it's really possible. They're just sort of in this energy of the loss of it and the reality of the loss of it. Yeah. I mean, this sucks. This masculine is having a dark night of the soul. Like, honestly, you have the Ten of Wands in reverse, clarified by the Tower in reverse. These are internal energies. The whole weight, the whole burden is on the masculine. It's kind of like, you know, the masculine may wish that the feminine felt the same way and that they came back towards the masculine, but they're seeing no evidence of that. In fact, they've seen something that's making it very clear to them that the feminine is not going to come back around and make this okay. And so the entire pressure of fixing this or making this work or not letting this end is falling on the masculine. And this is all sort of shattering the masculine. I don't know if they're used to people around them trying to make it better or coming back around, or if they really felt that they could let this go and it wasn't really that big a deal. But this is a big deal. It absolutely is a big deal. What is the Tower for Pisces? The Tower for Pisces. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Yeah. You have the Two of Wands with the Page of Wands upright with the Queen of Cups in reverse. And I mean, this person is really examining the decision they made. they have no choice. They are in the audience of this feminine. They are watching this feminine. It feels like her stock is rising. It feels like she is, she's fine. She's happy. She's following and still pursuing her passion. She's vivacious. She's abundant. And they're watching her do this. They realize here something, that what this feminine was actually offering them was unconditional love. And that does not come along all of the time. That is a pretty rare thing to be offered. And there's a lot of examination of, what decision this masculine made when they had the opportunity. And they weren't thinking. It was really immature. It was really, it was a decision that was made from a place that was, inexperienced, or, not really taking everything into consideration. And so there's this huge examination of sort of like, why did you make that choice? And what does that choice actually net? What is the result of that choice? What is the reality? And that is setting in. And as it sets in, that tower falls. And as it becomes clearer and clearer that this feminine has taken her love away, and that she was offering genuine love, and that she is moving in a different direction. She's not coming back toward this masculine. She's going her own way. She's feeling herself. She's exploring her life. She's following and pursuing her passions. And if this masculine wants to try to fix this choice that they made, it's all falling on them. And that is going to cause them to put their ego and their pride aside to come back around. And you have the Queen of Swords here coming out sideways. I feel like the masculine isn't really sure if they do come around what they're going to be received with, because what they're kind of telling themselves is, now that they're seeing the light of this decision and they're really inspecting it, it's almost kind of like they don't deserve another chance. Any chance they had, they can't see a way to make it happen, because this feminine is in her power. She's in her strength, and she's seeing things very clearly, and she's not going to listen to anything other than, the truth, kind of. And she may not listen to that. He really doesn't know if he still can hold an audience, if she will even talk to him, if he tries to talk to her. Yeah, he thinks he's really lost her. Look at that. It's too late. That's what he feels. It's too late. He already let her go. Look at that 7 of Cups again. 5 of Pentacles. He let her go. And with the Hangman and the 7 of Swords, he realized the error of his ways. He realized his own self-sabotaging behavior after it was too late. He now sees it. He now has this perspective of his own behavior. And but it's too late. He's already let it go. He's already lost it. You have 2 sevens here. This is a spiritual lesson. Queen of Wands, he still wants this. He's still really hung up on this. He's still trying to figure out, can I do it? Can I save it? But all he thinks is, I lost unconditional love. He's so heartbroken. I think it's really hard for him to even imagine a world in which it works out in the end. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So this masculine, I feel like they're finally really willing to admit that this feminine is their wish fulfillment, and that they were the happiest that they have ever been. This feminine showed this masculine a world of happiness, introduced them to a whole other existence, a whole other way of being that was mystical and beautiful and content. And, there has never in this masculine's life been a more powerful reason for them to free themselves from their limiting beliefs, to free themselves from their fear, and to take a leap of faith, to step into their power and to truly take a leap of faith. There is the Two of Swords on the bottom of the deck, which is an internal battle here in this particular card, between the light and the shadow within this person. Like, do they really believe that this is possible? Do they really think that they can forge some kind of opportunity to make this happen, to experience this again? Well, let's clarify this. Wow, I'm getting shuffled the deck. Okay. I don't usually do that. Nine of Cups. The Fool card. This is this person's call to happiness. Jesus, look at this repeat energy. You have the Emperor and the Fool card here, and you have the Fool card clarifying the Nine of Cups with the Emperor on the bottom of the deck. This is like now or never for this person. Like, this is my chance at actual happiness. This is my chance to step into my power. There's never been a more worthy cause or a more worthy moment, and there probably never will be again. And whatever I decide here, I will have to live with for the rest of my life. I can step into my power, I can step into my strength, I can take this leap of faith, or I can like kind of forever hold my peace. You know, I'm sealing my fate here. And these are major arcana. This is a minor arcana. So what is holding this person back is far lesser than what is pushing them forward. And they will suffer the repercussion of whatever this is, you know, whatever they decide here. No doubt about it for me. Oh my God. I can't believe that just happened. Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously. Wow. I mean, wow. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So this person, I think that this is stuck energy, right? The Two of Swords is stuck energy, that energy that we saw in the beginning. They have the opportunity, I'm getting, to like take the floor carpet out and put it under the wheel and rock the car back and forth and spin it out of whatever stuck energy they're in. The stuck is an illusion. The stuck is a choice. You know, the truth about the world, this is what I was saying to you in the beginning, is the one thing we know for sure is that things are constantly changing. Stuck is an illusion. It's a mindset. It's a self-imposed circumstance. In all the tarot cards that refer to stuckness, it is all us with us. It is never the universe versus us. The universe is never holding us back. It is always ourselves. So if you feel stuck, you have to look at what am I doing to create this stuckness? We can't look without, we have to look within. And that's one of the beautiful things about the Two of Swords. They are blindfolded. In fact, all of the cards, when there is stuckness, they're blindfolded, because the answer is to look within. How can I free myself from this energy? And it is also, I am not open to seeing all the opportunities. I'm not open to seeing the obstacle as the opportunity. There's a real opportunity for change here. There's divine timing. You may run into this person, or you may have like some kind of conversation unexpectedly with this person. And in that conversation or in that moment, this person has the opportunity completely to overcome their lower vibrational tendencies. They have all the ingredients to the cake in their pantry right now. They have seen, you know, how you're moving on and how you're thriving and how they're stuck and how, you know, obviously what was going wrong in the connection wasn't about you. It was about them, because we see the net result of this relationship having happened. You are somehow elevated and moving on in a spiritually high way, and they're stuck in this very material sense in this world. They can't free themselves. They can't stop thinking about this. They can't stop kind of fixating on it, obsessing on it. They're stuck to what happened here, where you are sort of moving on and thriving. And so they definitely have all of the, you know, ingredients to put it together and to say, okay, I'm stepping into my bravery, I'm stepping into my power, and I'm taking this leap of faith. It is a matter of divine timing. There is some kind of opportunity coming up here for this person to be strong. You know, I think it's going to be different for all of you, whether they do it in the end or not, but the opportunity is arising. All right. If you are dealing with a water sign, I want to talk to you. Yes, they do. Angry, guarded, good intentions. You are the one. I've been having weird dreams about us, okay? If you are dealing with a fire sign, do you hear Bhakti telling me he wants water now that he's been barking at the lawn, people? Oh, my boy. Bhakti, I'll be right there. If you're dealing with a fire sign, you're getting blocking. You were so unexpected. Guilt. Yeah, this person feels bad. I feel like they do feel bad for what they put you through, which is pretty interesting. I do feel, to some degree, they're all sort of putting their pride aside here for a moment. Then you have, I don't want to let you down, and daydreaming. I just want to make sure, yeah, that was it. Okay. And if you're dealing with an earth sign, I can't walk away. Our eye contact is insane. Trust me. My karmic story is ending. The changes are real. Doubting. All right. And if you're dealing with an air sign, old flames. You are the only one who truly gets me. I'm sending you telepathic messages. I want to be vulnerable with you, and I want your attention. All right, guys, this is what I have for you. I hope it helps. I hope it brings you some peace and clarity. If it does, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I love you so much. And I just looked up and it's 111. Bhakti. All right. All my best. Always, always, always. Until next time. Bye-bye.